The New York Jets play the New York Giants in a classic matchup that we haven't seen, obviously, in every 4 years. And we got to talk to our New York Post columnist, Steve Serby, who's been covering both of these teams for a very long time. Steve, how you doing, man?
Good. I've got a little bit of a growth here, as you see, a little few whiskers. I am not going to shave until the Jets and Giants play in a Super Bowl together. How's that?
That's gonna be a long growing time, man. The way these teams are going right now.
I'll be Rip Van Winkle by that time.
I wouldn't hold your breath. But listen, this is still a key matchup, especially for the Jets, who are trying to vie for a playoff spot. They are at 3-3. The Giants coming off a good win against the Commanders. We learned today on Friday that Daniel Jones is not going to play this weekend, so Tyrod Taylor gets to start again. So, Steve, there's a lot of different matchups I want to break down with you here real quick. But when you're looking at this matchup of Jets versus Giants, what's the biggest one that stands out to you right now when you're looking at these two teams?
The Jets defensive line versus the Giants offensive line. Andrew Thomas will not be playing. All of the Jets Predator pass rushers will be playing. It's again, this is no game for Daniel Jones to be activated against with a bad neck against that Jets violent front four. It could be ugly for Tyrod Taylor, who's done a really nice job. I know some Giant fans are screaming that he should be the quarterback, but look, he scored 23 points in 2 games, right? I mean, in fairness to Daniel Jones, Daniel Jones did not have Saquon Barkley. Tyrod Taylor has had Saquon Barkley. But it's going to be tough sledding for Saquon to run against these guys,
Yeah.
with C.J. Mosley being the quarterback of that defense and a rested Jets defense, which wants to show that their own comparisons to the 85 Bears are legit. And in the New York Post on Friday, I said, okay, you want to be the 85 Bears? Let's see an 85 Bears performance. Let's see if you can shut out the Giants, who went 220 minutes and 42 seconds without an offensive touchdown before they finally scored twice last week with Tyrod Taylor throwing TD passes to Darren Waller and Saquon Barkley. But that's the matchup. Somehow the straight off the couch, Justin Pugh will be at left tackle. God bless him. Great guy. Competitive as hell. But he's going to have his work cut out for him. And Tyrod Taylor, again, the premium will be on him making quick decisions, getting the ball out of his hand, and running out of trouble when the Jets make him run for his life. So that's the matchup.
Yeah, no, I think it's a matchup that I think a lot of fans are going to be looking forward to. The other one I will touch on in a sec is I think a maybe even a bigger one. But for you, Steve, and like you said, you wrote about it, and I read your column yesterday, today. Sorry, I should say. You spoke to C.J. Mosley, you spoke to John Franklin Myers. They weren't the ones that made the 85 Bear comment. Obviously, that was DJ Reed. But to your point, what's the key to them to shut down this Giants offense, which has looked better? Mind you, this Giants offense has not had much success this year, even when it was Daniel Jones, and now it's been Tyrod Taylor. This is a much better defense compared to the Commanders and Bills if you're talking about this Jets unit as a whole. So what's that factor? What's going to be the thing the Jets defense has to do? Is it going to be third down stops? Is it going to be getting after Tyrod Taylor, sacking him? Is it going to be forcing a turnover, which the Jets defense has been causing a lot of lately?
And Tyrod Taylor has not turned the ball over. He's thrown 51 passes without a pick. That's pretty good. He's been efficient. The key will be stopping Saquon and forcing Tyrod Taylor to beat them. That will be the key. That's always the key. Stopping Saquon. Look, the Jets have to start fast. They've started slowly in these games. They've only allowed one. Yeah. Only allowed 1 second half touchdown.
Yeah.
But the best chance for the Giants is to jump on the Jets before the Jets, who are, like I said, are rested coming off their bye week, and they keep their defensive line fresh. They send waves and waves at the quarterback. Quinnen Williams is going to have to be blocked.
Yep.
That's the Jets' answer to Dexter Lawrence, who also has to be blocked. It's going to be a long day. I don't see the Giants scoring more than 14 points, and the Jets, don't forget, have Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed back,
both coming back.
So those beautiful long balls that Tyrod Taylor's been throwing, some of which to one of your favorite guys, Jalen Hyatt. It's not going to be easy for Tyrod to complete against Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed, a healthy Gardner, a healthy Reed. So it's going to be a Jet. It's going to be a Jet defensive day.
Yeah, and it's not going to be an offensive slugfest by any means with these two teams.
No.
You're talking about two of the worst offensive teams in the NFL. Funny part is that you brought up the slow starts. It's not just the Jets. The Giants are the second worst. The Jets are the worst first quarter team in the NFL in point differential, and the Giants are second worst in the NFL. So I don't expect.
The Giants are slow starters and slow finishers. So
true.
It's going to be a problem for scoring. Look, the Jets are not with Zach Wilson. They're not going to the Giants are going to try to make Zach Wilson beat them, and the premium will be on obviously stopping Breece Hall. Yeah, that's a pretty good running back matchup we have. Saquon Barkley on one side, Breece Hall on the other side. The Jets have an advantage from an explosive standpoint because of Garrett Wilson. The Giants don't have a Garrett Wilson unless you're counting Jalen Hyatt as a guy who can light up MetLife Stadium with some dynamic, explosive, long reception, which he's capable of. But again, Tyrod Taylor is going to need time, and he's going to be throwing into the vicinity of Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed.
Yeah, and those guys are going to be hungry. They haven't played football in a couple of weeks here. Coming off the bye, like you said, they're rested. They're getting healthy. The other matchup that I wanted to talk to that you alluded to here is Zach Wilson. The confidence that he's trying to build on, obviously, week by week. We haven't seen him replicate that performance like he had against the Chiefs. Granted, the Chiefs were up by 17-0, and I think they took their foot off the gas a little bit on defense, but Zach did look impressive in that second half against the Chiefs. My question to you is can Zach Wilson and this offense get enough points against a defense in the Giants that has played a lot better in the last 2 weeks, holding the Commanders and Bills in check? So do you have the confidence in Zach Wilson and this offense to put up the points necessary to win this game?
Well, they don't have to put up a whole bunch of points. Zach Wilson has to be poised. He has to be confident. He has to get the ball to Garrett Wilson early and often, get the ball in the hands of your playmakers, and let them make life easy for you. Mm-hmm. The same thing applies to Zach Wilson this year and right now as applied a year ago. Don't make the easy look hard. Again, he could use another weapon just as Tyrod can use another weapon, but he has Garrett Wilson. He has Breece Hall. Throw the ball to Breece Hall. Get him out in space. Take little checkdowns to Breece Hall and yards after catch. But the Giants are going to – Wink Martindale is going to make life miserable for Zach Wilson. This is not going to be a shootout, as we know. It'll be a shoot down. But that's a matchup that would scare me from a Jet perspective. Wink Martindale unleashing Dexter Lawrence and Kayvon Thibodeau and all those blitzes that are inevitable on Zach Wilson. So Zach Wilson and Nathaniel Hackett have done a better job of being in sync the last few weeks. Mm-hmm. Hackett has gotten to learn what makes this kid tick, but the Giant defense is no day at the beach. And Zach Wilson will need to, the last thing that the Jets need Zach Wilson to do is to give Tyrod Taylor a short field with a turnover. Yeah. You don't want to give the Giants any kind of life at all deep in your territory or on your side of the field. And get the home crowd in it. And by the way, what percentage do you think will be Jet
Yeah.
fans? I'm just curious. What do you think,
I think
Ryan?
it's going to be 65-35 Giants.
Yeah, that's funny. I would have guessed 70-30 Giants.
Okay.
A colleague of mine would guess 60-40. So I think we'll split the difference, 65-35.
I will say
It's going to
if
be fun. It's going to
yeah,
be
it
fun.
will be. I will say if the Giants didn't win that game against Commanders, I would say it'd be a pretty 50-50 even split Jets Giants fans at MetLife on Sunday.
Yeah, and don't forget Zach Wilson. He has his left tackle. He has Mekhi Becton. Tyrod Taylor does not have his left tackle, Andrew Thomas. As I said, straight off the couch will be the left tackle, Justin Pugh. So advantage Zach Wilson in that one.
Which isn't saying much when you consider that Jets offensive line. I mean, the left side is put together like you said, but then you talk about the right side, it's a big question mark. You know, Joe Tippmann, we don't know.
Can you identify the right guard on Sunday for the Jets?
Is it Schweitzer?
Very good.
Yeah,
not Albert Schweitzer.
No, Wes Schweitzer, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, Wes Schweitzer will be right guard, and then I think they're going to have Max Mitchell at right tackle, unless Joe Tippmann plays, but I don't think he's going to.
No, Tippmann won't play.
Yeah, Tippmann won't be playing. Yeah. So, I mean, if you're Wink Martindale, which I'm sure he will, he's going to be targeting that right side of the offensive line of the Jets against Zach Wilson, which is different from coming from the blind side. So Zach should be seeing those blitzes coming, but that's another whole nother thing if he can handle that pressure. That's saying one thing and doing one thing is another.
Wink is going to empty his bag of tricks.
Yeah.
The Giants are 2-5. They're desperate. The Jets have to play with that same desperation. You know, they haven't done anything yet. They haven't won anything yet. They're 3-3. They should be rested. They think they're the better team. They believe they're the better team. They have playoff, if not Super Bowl aspirations, clinging to the hope that Aaron Rodgers can somehow be a miracle man and come back. But if you're the better team, let's see it. Show us that you're the better team.
Yeah. Yeah. This feels like, Steve, this is the matchup that you have to win if you're the Jets, right? I mean, to wipe that narrative off, that one, you're not good off the bye, because that taste is still in your mouth from last year when you came off the bye after you had a great win against the Steelers. You went to the bye week and you came out and you fell flat. And I understand you lost Breece Hall, you lost AVT, but at the end of the day, the team didn't perform down the stretch and they lost a lot of games. So for you, Steve, when you're looking at this Jets team, is this as much of a must win as it is for the whole season for them? Like, this is even a bigger must win than it was, say, last week against the Eagles or 2 weeks prior against the Broncos?
I don't. It's an important game. I mean,
okay,
3-4, it will be a punch to their solar plexus, because they could say to themselves, man, we beat the Eagles, but why couldn't we beat the Giants?
Yeah.
So Saleh would have to navigate through that self-doubt that could erupt.
Yeah.
But you know the way this league is. It's a week-to-week league.
Yep.
You got the Chargers at home
Monday night.
The following week. You know, they could beat the Giants, and then if they lose to the Chargers, then what? Let's see the Jets reel off 4 or 5 in a row. You know, they've got the Giants, they've got the Chargers at home, and then they've got Las Vegas
Sunday night.
If they're the team that they think they are, let's see them win 3 more in a row. Would give them a 5-game winning streak. And then Robert Saleh could start talking about his receipts again.
Yeah. No, it's a great point, Steve. It really is. Final thoughts here. Prediction for you, Steve. I'm not going to ask you to give me a score, but
3-2. 3-2.
What is where's your prediction? How do you see this game going?
I think it's going to go down to the fourth quarter, which most NFL games do. And I just think that if you're making me squirm here, because I didn't really want to give you a prediction, but I picked the Giants plus the points in the paper.
Okay.
Because I like to pick underdogs.
Home dogs.
But I think that the coming off a bye, the Jets will be fresher. I think the Giants' desperation might work against them in this game. And as long as Zach Wilson doesn't make a bonehead turnover, the defense should win this game for the Jets. You want to score? I don't know.
13-10?
No, I'll give 20 to 17. How's that? I'll give the Giants a defensive touchdown. How about that?
I could see that. I could definitely see that.
Deontay Banks darting in front of Garrett Wilson for a pick six. And that would be 7 of the 17 Giant points. For the Giants to win, I think they're going to need a defensive touchdown. That's my thought on that.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good point. I think for me, looking at this matchup, and we haven't brought this up yet. We talked about this guy last week, Xavier Gibson. I have a feeling he's going to have a huge play in the return game. It'll either be punt or kick return. The Giants special teams is not good unit-wise, especially defending the return. I could see special teams playing a huge part in this game just because of how bad the offenses are, and it'll be a defensive slugfest. So I could totally see a Jets return for a touchdown or a huge return, into the red zone, flipping the field. So that's my prediction. That's my bold prediction for this weekend.
Well, and Xavier Gibson, they love him. As we've discussed that before. He's dynamic.
Yeah.
He has the capabilities to break a long one, and that would be deadly. It would be a death blow for the Giants, who, as we keep saying, aren't going to score a whole lot of points.
No. Listen, Steve is one of the best in the business. He always does all these videos with us. You can catch him on Sundays with Serby, Challenge Flag after the NFL Sunday on Mondays and Tuesdays. Steve, you're the best, man. We appreciate you as always. I know this is just another list of Giants-Jets matchups. You'll add it to your previous times you've watched these teams, and appreciate you as always, man.
Yeah. Now, if the game unfolds opposite of what I just said, just burn this tape.
You got it.
Please. Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you.